This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
Severe weather out west in Oklahoma is heading our way. Those storms could arrive while you're asleep tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. We are in storm alert. Let's go straight to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell.
You know, those storms aren't going to impact us this evening, but while many folks are sleeping, that could be you tomorrow morning, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. The potential that we get some of those stronger storms begins to increase after that. Let's get right into it. Quiet around St. Louis right now. We've seen some sunshine break out, a few showers off into eastern portions of Illinois, but boy, look at the storms firing across Nebraska, back into Kansas and Oklahoma. And we look in on the warnings right now. Yeah, there's a few tornado warnings and a whole bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings. This is the focus of what we're watching here through the overnight hours, because that line of storms generally becomes a very large line. And as we go through the overnight hours, it keeps trudging towards St. Louis. Yes, it'll be weakening some as it approaches our area between 2 and 3 o'clock. Really gets into the metro area, we think, as we get towards 4 o'clock in the morning. Still enough energy with this to kick up some strong winds, maybe enough to spin up a brief weak tornado as well. So we're talking about a line of thunderstorms. That's why we're in storm alert for the overnight hours. The timing, 2 a.m. until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And your threats, those strong wind and a weak tornado possible. We have another threat coming our way on Wednesday. More on that, Mike, in just a few minutes.
And as Scott mentioned, it's important to have a weather radio or your phone nearby to alert you to these storms because they're happening overnight. You can also get our Weather First forecast sent to your phone anytime. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355.
Where in the world is Kim Gardner? That is the question Missouri Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick asked during a press conference today, saying the former St. Louis Circuit Attorney has evaded all of his attempts to serve her with a subpoena. Our Christine Byers was at a news conference today where the auditor asked for the public's help to try and find her. Christine Byers is live downtown. Christine.
And right now we're standing outside the courthouse where Kim Gardner served as St. Louis's top prosecutor for 6 years. Now it's been almost a year to the day since she abruptly resigned, and that happened just as pressure was mounting from the Missouri auditor. Kim Gardner resigned May 16th, just as Missouri Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick was about to go to court to force her to comply with his subpoena. He was looking for documents related to the inner workings of her office.
While she may have hoped her resignation would bring an end to her involvement in the audit, I said it then and I'll say it again today. Her resignation did not negate the duty we have to thoroughly assess the performance of the St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office under Kim Gardner's leadership.
That includes how she was spending money and whether policies were being followed.
We have identified instances of inappropriate expenditures. We've identified issues of mismanagement, and those are the things that we want to speak with Kim Gardner about.
The audit actually began in 2021 before Fitzpatrick ever even took office. It was part of a citywide audit the Board of Aldermen requested back in 2018.
And in that time, every report has been completed, more than 20 in total, with the exception of one. And the reason for that delay is undeniable. It's Kim Gardner herself.
Fitzpatrick says his office has covered a lot of ground in the years since Gabe Gore replaced Gardner, as he has let the auditor's staff into the office.
If Kim Gardner won't do the right thing, we need your help. Have you seen Kim Gardner? Do you know where she is? If we can find her, we will subpoena her and ask the questions that the people of St. Louis deserve to have answered.
Now, just within the last hour, the auditor's office told me that this audit has cost city taxpayers so far $188,000. Fitzpatrick says he plans to release his report with or without Gardner by the end of the year, and only a prosecutor can determine if there was criminal wrongdoing and if she should be charged for it. Live outside Gardner's former office, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
New at 6, officials in Jefferson County believe a multi-million-dollar investment will help fight crime in one of our region's fastest growing areas. 5 on your side's Holden Kerwicki joins us now in studio with more on how law enforcement and prosecutors plan to use the new crime lab. Holden.
Well, Mike, according to Sheriff Dave Marshak, theft is one of the most common crimes in Jefferson County and often one of the most difficult to prosecute. However, he believes a new crime lab will give prosecutors the evidence needed to close cases quicker than ever before.
For Jefferson County prosecutor Tricia Stefanski, There are times when fighting crime can get a bit frustrating.
It's frustrating is when the person is committing more crimes and we can't charge them on the initial crime and we keep seeing his name over and over again. It's extremely frustrating. And we know it's frustrating for the public. We see the comments where, how was he arrested in March? And here it is, August, and we've got another crime.
For years, evidence collected in Jefferson County was shipped off to the state crime lab for testing.
They're backlogged, and so they have to pick and choose what they're testing, what they're not testing.
It's not unusual to have a turnaround time of 8 months on some controlled substances and up to a year on some DNA. We think we should have the ability to prioritize cases for our community.
Thanks to an $11 million investment, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office will now have the ability to process that evidence in-house at their new crime lab in Peevely.
With this investment will enhance our DNA profile and our ability to test substances much quicker.
In fact, before I came here today, our narcotics prosecutor was very excited. It'll change her world because she won't be waiting for 6 to 9 months or more for lab results anymore. She'll be able to charge them more quickly, and we can be able to get those people off the streets.
Stefanski says the new crime lab is a game changer for all 9 law enforcement agencies in Jefferson County, which will now have the ability to process trace amounts of DNA often left behind on stolen cars.
Now with this lab, we can get some of that touch DNA and some of those things and help prosecute those cases and send a message that that's not okay in Jefferson County.
The bulk of the $11 million price tag is being paid for using federal COVID relief funds. If all goes to plan, that new crime lab will open sometime in 2025. Ann?
Investigators are trying to identify a body found in the Mississippi River in St. Genevieve. Sheriff's deputies described the victim as a black man wearing several layers of clothes, including a woman's bra. They had several tattoos, including a heart-shaped one on the right middle finger. Other tattoos say Cece and Love Melinda, and there's a Cardinals tattoo on the left shoulder. Here's some of that clothing. Investigators believe the victim may have been in the water for as long as 2 weeks. The window to submit questions to appear on the November ballot in Missouri is now closed.
Several campaigns gathered hundreds of thousands of signatures for their cause. As our political editor Mark Maxwell explains, that means your vote could carry significant consequences this fall. Mark.
Yeah, Mike and Ann, Missouri voters could raise the minimum wage, guarantee paid sick leave, legalize sports betting, and legalize or continue the ban on abortion, all in one vote. Election law experts tell me there's not enough time for the Secretary of State to complete the ordinary review of these signatures before the primary. So unless Jay Ashcroft uses a rare maneuver to shortcut that review process, all of these questions are likely to appear on November's ballot alongside the race for president, a U.S. Senate seat, and every statewide office in Missouri. The political implications could be massive, and the campaigns to legalize sports betting and abortion both gathered more than 300,000 signatures. Their organizers say that's evidence of broad public support. Meanwhile, Missouri Republicans are working on a second track to try and change the rules of this whole process and make it harder to change the state constitution. That question could also appear, but earlier on the August ballot, potentially raising the bar to approve those questions later.
If the legislature would get something around initiative petition on the ballot, voters would have to approve to make it more challenging to use these forms of direct democracy. So they tried that in Ohio, and it failed pretty spectacularly. We would sort of expect the same thing in Missouri.
Will the Secretary of State expedite this process to put the abortion question on the August ballot? Tonight, Governor Parsons' office says he, quote, wants all options, primary or general elections, available to him when scheduling these elections, and, quote, if he believes scheduling that abortion measure for the August primary will best support the pro-life movement, then Parson expects to have that option.
Coming up, shots fired in Soulard, the damage to cars and buildings.
Plus, a local animal shelter helping victims of domestic violence.